Hello, everyone. Welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Akimbaloye here in Abuja. So much that we're dishing out to you, but we have a conversation with one of the governors of the state on the state of the nation and what is happening in the state and, of course, in his political party. So stick around with me, everyone. But first, let's serve you with some of your political roundup stories.
The federal government has launched the Labour Employment and Empowerment Program, LEAP, targeted at creating 2.5 million jobs in 2 years. Vice President Kashim Shettima launched the initiative on behalf of President Bola Tinubu at the conference center of the State House, Abuja.
This program certainly was inspired by the need to carry all parts of the country along, beginning from our 6 geopolitical zones. We are laying the foundation for inclusive progress. We are at the threshold of a new era. One, where our workforce is empowered, where our economy is strengthened, and where our people are equipped to compete globally.
The Rivers State Judiciary has debunked claims circulating on social media regarding the retirement of Chief Magistrate A.G.K. King George, retired. Speaking to journalists earlier today, the Chief Registrar of the Rivers State High Court, David Maduenyi, revealed that Mr. A.G.K. King George had been compulsorily retired from service by the Judicial Service Commission since the 12th of February 2025, following disciplinary proceedings which had been preferred against him since January of last year. He further clarified that he and all the members of the judiciary were very surprised to have seen Mr. George's resignation letter circulating on social media platforms. Meanwhile, the coalition of civil society organizations and youth groups have condemned the ongoing situation in the state while calling for review. During a briefing in Port Harcourt, the spokesperson of the coalition, Oscar Imeabe, decried the ongoing situations, urging a review. He further raised questions over the impartiality of the sole administrator following his appointment into the local government councils. Another member of the group says the development in the state are quite worrisome and that the reason the state is calm is because of the peaceful demeanor of the suspended governor, Siminalayi Fubara. In a bid to strengthen security at the grassroots level, the Kebbi State government has organized a capacity-building workshop for local government chairmen aimed at equipping them with the knowledge and skills to formulate effective security policies to safeguard the lives of their people. The workshop, tagged Shape a Safe Kebbi State, was organized by the Kebbi State Ministry for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs. Lastly, the coalition of civil society organizations in Abuja is advocating the need for residents of Warri Federal Constituency to obey the rulings delivered on the 2nd December 2022, mandating the Independent National Electoral Commission to undertake a thorough delineation of wards and polling units in the Warri Federal Constituency, which includes Warri South, Warri West, and Warri Southwest local government areas of Delta State. Addressing a news conference in Abuja, the convener of the coalition, Mr. Gabriel Nwambu, says the exercise conducted by the electoral body has yielded significant advancement in the promotion of democratic integrity and fairness in Nigeria's electoral process.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Let's tell you that the inflation rate has risen to 24.23% in March 2025. It's risen from 24.23, which was recorded in February of 2025. The rise in inflation was reflected in the MBS report, which was released earlier today, and reflected in major increase in the rising commodity and energy costs in the last few weeks, according to the March 2025 Consumer Price Index report, which measures the inflation rate released by the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics earlier today. Says the country's food inflation rate has now been put at 21.79% year on year in March 2025. Let's tell you that we're now hearing from the lawyers to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Mr. Olisa Agbakoba today at a press conference has been asking Senator representing Kogi Central in the National Assembly, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, to clarify certain contradictions in her sexual harassment claims against his client, Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Mr. Agbakoba in Lagos today said the widespread publication of the harassment claims has damaged his client's reputation locally and internationally, but more evidence is needed to support the allegations. He's now calling on Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan to provide further particulars and evidence to support our allegations, submitting that the allegation, as it currently stands, falls short of the threshold for proving sexual harassment in any part of the world. Take a listen to the senior advocate of Nigeria.
We must remember that there are two sides. And so one allegation is on sexual harassment, the other one is denied. But the context in which this occurred was that Senator Babio and Senator Natasha incidentally shared the same birthday. I don't know if you are aware. They shared the same birthday, 9th of December. And so on the 8th of December, they've all arrived in Uyo to begin the preparation for the birthday on the following day. So the petition written by Senator Natasha indicates that the sexual harassment occurred on the 8th. But I don't know if you've looked at some of the documentation I've given. So what then made me wonder and say maybe I needed to clarify. So we've sent a letter, which you've got. We'd like to have some clarification on the important timeline contradiction. So on the 8th, there's an allegation of sexual harassment. On the 9th, there is praise for the same person who, on the 8th, a sexual harassment allegation is made. That's the purpose of this.
That's Mr. Olisa Agbakuba, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, counsel to the Senate President Godswill Akpabio on the sexual harassment allegations made by the Kogi Central Senator, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. So the sad scenario playing out. Remember that we spoke with the governor of Plateau State, Governor Caleb Mutfwang of Plateau State, who has now visited the site where about 51 persons are said to have been killed yesterday in the Zike community of the Basel local government area, with houses razed and many displaced. About 2 weeks after a similar attack led to the killing of scores of persons in Boko's local government area. And less than 2 days after the most recent assault, Governor Mutfwang has apologized for the government's inability to protect the people, saying that he is with them and he can feel the pain, but his government will do more to ensure security of the people is paramount. Take a listen to him.
If I will tell you the truth, I myself, I have been crying since yesterday because I had trusted God that all the arrangements were put in place that this will not happen again. We have made investments in security, but like all human arrangements, sometimes they fail. And I want to admit that on Sunday night into Monday morning, we failed you. Please forgive us.
As Governor of Plateau State, Caleb Mutfwang. So yesterday, the attention of most political-minded persons were on Oyo State, where governors of the People's Democratic Party were hosted by the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde. After the meeting, there far-fetched and far-reaching decisions were made by the PDP governors. Amidst all of that, perhaps is also the attention that Oyo State has drawn over the last few years. Pictures emerged recently in few days when Governor Seyi Makinde and some other governors in the country visited France. Particularly interesting is the interest of Governor Makinde, who says that he wants to bring the concept of agro investment and improving the agricultural environment of the state, similar to what he saw in France. And there are investments also that have been made in the Fashola area of your state, and in some other parts of the state. The governor says he's interested in improving agriculture in the state, just like we have seen in other parts of the country, in other states where interest in agriculture is now growing. But more evident is the growing rate of investment in industry and manufacturing in that state that borders Lagos and Ogun State. Perhaps Oyo State is now one of the major hubs of industrialization or manufacturing in the country. And it's a major artery from the commercial Lagos city and the rest of the country. But now, the big question is also, how will Governor Makinde be able to harness the gas resources and the exponential quantity, capacity of gas for the economy, local economy in that state? Tonight, I'm being joined by the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, who is live for us from Ibadan. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program.
Thank you so much, Seun, for having me on this program.
Thank you so much. My attention tonight and my interest is going to be more on governance. And what particularly Oyo State, when we're talking about politics, a lot of Nigerians look to Oyo State because when the big numbers are coming from the south, if you look at Lagos, perhaps the next big thing that you look at is Oyo State. And when the numbers are coming from Oyo State, is a big deal. So when we're talking about economy and the numbers that affect or reflect on the economy, we should be looking at Oyo State. But a lot of the things that I've also personally been studying about the economy of the Southwest, Oyo State seems to be standing out. And there is now a very huge competition with Lagos State that Oyo State is posing under your administration. But the question is, what is in it for the Oyo people and Nigeria at large? But because before I get there, Governor, there are those who think that some of the decisions you and your colleagues made yesterday after that meeting, do you have what it takes to make those decisions? These are decisions that are supposed to be made by the official organs of the party.
Thank you, Seun. But we didn't just meet as a PDP Governors Forum. We invited the managers of the party. The acting national chairman was there with us. Also, the national legal advisor was there with us. And we also had the national organizing secretary. And even other members of the NWC, they were waiting by the side just in case there's any need for them. So we were ready, we were deliberate in trying to tackle headlong, the challenges that we have within our party. And I'm quite glad that we were able to align and then take those decisions.
Well, one of those decisions you made, and there are those who are wondering how you came about that, and how will you preclude your party or any members of your party from the coalition talks and issues of merger. And there are those who say, look, your party will be on the short end of the stick if you refuse some kind of merger or talks with other political parties. Why did you resolve to say your party is out of merger talks? There are those who say you are passing it's a tacit adoption that Bola Tinubu and the APC will have an easy round for 2027.
Well, I totally disagree, Seun. First, there must be a process. If the managers of the party, the organs of the party, if they are coming together and you're going into a merger as a party or a coalition as a party, there's need for alignment for people to know this is what we're doing as a party. But if you have individuals, it is still within their rights, to associate with whoever they want to associate with. But as a party, we haven't gotten there. Our first order of business is to put our party on a sound pedestal. You know, Yoruba people will say when some other people are almost certain that they will be made chiefs, some other folks are out there, calling a party without even knowing where they're going. So for us, before you go out to talk to other people, our house must be in order. And that is where we are right now.
But in that case, the likes of Atiku and the rest are already talking. That those, how would you say? Would you say that this is some kind of anti-party activity?
Well, okay. Let me backtrack a little bit because this thing kept coming up. Politics is a game of interest. You must be interested. You must have alignment with the wider organs of your party before you go out to say, look, you want to go and meet and you want to have other people into a coalition. If you remember, in 2019, even here in Oyo State, for my own election, we went into a coalition with other parties, but the organs of the party in Oyo State and myself as the candidate of the party, we were together on the same page. And when we became successful, it was not difficult for me, to cede positions to parties that are within that coalition. That was possible because we followed the process through. We didn't just wake up and then I would say, well, me as XYZ within the party, I can go and bind the party, to a coalition. When indeed and in fact, majority of the party organs, the party members, they have no clue what you're trying to do. They have no clue what is in this coalition for them. And they also have no clue, is this whether this is something that is personal? Are you a power monger? Are you, doing this in the best interest of the party and of the people of Nigeria? Those are things that you need to consider before you just jump out to say, look, I am, leading a coalition without carrying the critical people within your own party along. If it's anti-party, we have the National Disciplinary Committee, which was a NEC committee set up, headed by Chief Tommy Kimi. If they think is anti-party, they have the right to examine it. And I would say that no single individual is above the party.
You on the program yesterday, Chief Olabode George says some of them in the party will not allow Atiku, for example, to fly the party's flag, considering the consideration of the balancing factor that the PDP itself introduced from 1998, 1999, of how zoning could be applicable. For your party, are you thinking in that line that maybe you are aligned with, Buhari has done 8 years, now there is a Tinubu who is doing a 4-year. Is that consideration very, very key and germane? Is it on the minds of some of you who are leaders of the PDP?
Well, Chief Olabode George is a well-respected leader of the party nationally. He was there when PDP was formed, right from the beginning. And he is not flippant. So the only thing I can say really is the fact that, democracy is a game of numbers. If majority of our people decide, look, we have to do zoning, we have to zone the party offices, we also have to zone the elective offices, then it becomes something that the party will have to see through. So I won't say, as the Democrats, that somebody should be precluded until you get to that point where you're saying, look, what's in the best interest of our party? What's in the best interest for this country? And you take decisions on that basis. Then certain people maybe, if you say, zoned out, but it doesn't mean that they won't be allowed to participate. If they feel, okay, we're not happy with this issue of, zoning, they can take it to the right organ of the party. Now we have a zoning committee that is going to be ratified at NEC, having Governor Doye of Bayelsa State as the chairman. So anyone that has issues, around the issue of zoning, when they start sitting, then we'll take it out there. This is democracy, everybody will have their say, but majority will have their way.
But as an astute politician that you are, what do you think is fair? You are a Southwest leader and a governor, and you'll be leading a lot of your people to conventions of the party in the interest of the people, the Yoruba people, the Southwest people, and that those who have fought to say the South should have a bite. Would you, in your mind, I'm asking you a personal question now, as a leader in the PDP and as a Yoruba man, as a governor in the Southwest, what do you think would be fair for your party to push forward for 2027?
Well, we have to, look at Nigeria. What are Nigerians going through right now? Are they happy? Are we just playing stunt politics? Or are we focused on solving the problems, facing Nigerians? Have we reduced hunger in the land? Are people hungry? And then what exactly should we be looking at for the future? So those are issues that will come up that we have to address as leaders. And in arriving at any decision, those are things that you really want to look at. Politics, governance, and all of these things, they are not the end in itself. The end is, are you able to make the life of our people one shade better all across the country, not just for a section of the country, not just for, I'm sorry to say, maybe the gang in Lagos. We want a situation where everybody, every corner of this country, you must look after them once you're operating at the national level.
But I'm hearing something, Governor Makinde, and within your party, there are those who are saying that if they are considering anybody for the party ticket in 2027, it has to be Seyi Makinde. I'm very sure you must have heard. The whisper must have come to you. Are you ready for that kind of task?
Well, I mentioned it severally. Nobody will set an agenda for me. I will set an agenda for myself. And people can say whatever they want to say. Right now, I am focusing on what Oyo State people, what they've given to me, the task ahead of us. And so I'm not distracted. And I will not play stunt politics. I will not do things because it feels right in some people's ears. No, we will do things. We will stay focused to ensure that we bring dividends of democracy to our people. We look after them. We also build infrastructure that will lead our people, well into the future. That is not consistent with, whether somebody is going to go to the federal level or whether people are saying, look, you must contest this. If I want to contest, I will come out at the appropriate time.
So, I mean, you are not thinking about it now, but if your people are pushing you and are saying they want you, isn't this some kind of affirmation of maybe your performance or your capacity? Or, I mean, would you say no if the people come out to say it is Makinde we want?
But, even in Oyo State, 2019, maybe a lot of people may not know this, but this is my first public service job. All my life, I'm 57 now, all my life, I have not been in a public space. Until I became a governor, I never knew you could. Some people could buy a ticket for you to travel, or give you a car, to ride in. All of those things, I worked for them. Proud to me becoming the governor of Oyo State. So I came out when I saw that I had something to offer the people of Oyo State, and the focus right now is still, try and deliver on the promises that we made. Remember also that in 2019, I came out with a roadmap for accelerated development of Oyo State 2019 to 2023. And then we were focusing on that. It took me time to even come out to say, look, I'll run for a second tenure. When I decided to run for a second tenure, I also came out with a roadmap for sustainable development of Oyo State 2023 to 2027. So, and we put those things in black and white so that people could track them, and then they can hold us accountable to those promises that we made. One thing you should expect from Seyi Makinde is that he will never come out to say, look, I want to do this, do X, Y, Z without preparation and without being held accountable for whatever it is that I say I want to do.
How does President Seyi Makinde sound to you? When you first heard it, Seyi Makinde for president, how does that sound to you? How does it make you feel?
Well, when somebody said Governor Seyi Makinde, some 7 years ago, my question was, look, governor of which Rotary district, so President Seyi Makinde, maybe president of my town union, perhaps. But let me say this, Shehu. I don't have any doubt that I have the capacity to occupy the highest office in this land, and I have what it takes. But is it what I want to do right now? Is it what Nigerians are asking for? Is it what my party will say we should do? I don't know. We still have a long time to go. Where we are right now is, we must fix our party. You must have a platform for you to even aspire to be anything. And let me also say this: if my political journey ends right here, I am also very happy. When I joined politics in 2007, I wanted to go to the Senate. I wanted to be a senator. But now, not only have I achieved more than that by being the governor of my state, I've also cherished the opportunity that people gave to me to make my own little difference.
They call you GSM, Governor Seyi Makinde. And I heard some people in Ibadan the other day said, we want PSM, President Seyi Makinde, but you said that is up to you. But let me ask you quickly. And you know the politics of your state, how sentimental people also feel that there is Okeogun, there is, there are a lot of interest on the different blocks, and there are those who will say, look, who is succeeding Seyi Makinde? Do you have a succession plan? Because I'm hearing that you already have a right-hand man to take over from you. Who is this person?
Well, all I can say, Sean, is that we have enough good people within our team in Oyo State. And I will not just leave Oyo State people hanging. I have put in place, before I came in, the roadmap for accelerated development of Oyo State. I've put in place, when I was seeking for second tenure, a roadmap for sustainable development of Oyo State, 2023 to 2027. There are certain things we've been able to achieve, because when people even say to me that, oh, you've constructed roads, you have this infrastructure and that infrastructure. And I said, no, I don't think this administration and myself will be remembered for those things. What we want to be remembered for are the major shifts that we've been able to make in terms of creating institutions that will sustain good governance in Oyo State. So before I leave, I will definitely prepare a roadmap for continued development of Oyo State 2027 and beyond. Whoever Oyo State people decide to choose, I will hand that over to them, and I will have done my own bits.
What zone is it? Do you think it should go this time around in Oyo State?
Politics is a game of numbers, you know. Still at this particular time, about almost 50% of the population of Oyo State is still domiciled within Ibadan. However, well before I became a governor, I told them that the only way the governorship will leave Ibadan is when you have a governor that has performed excellently well, that has earned the trust of the people. And if he is able to find a successor from any zone, then he can push that through. We're still on this journey. I don't know if we have 100% trust from people just yet, but if we focus on what we're doing, by the end of this year, we will definitely hear what people are saying.
Quickly, before we go into governance issue, the name of your very good friend, former governor of Rivers State, Nyesom Wike, has always been mentioned in the crisis rocking the PDP. And that those who say, look, the problem in the PDP is not a problem, is a problem that will drown the party. Are you certain that you and your colleagues in the PDP are able to rescue this party, and such that the bloody nose that your party has received over the years, you'll be able to heal and get out of it?
Well, let me also say this, Sean. You remember that there was a time when I wasn't even a governor, but PDP was in very serious crisis between Sheriff, McAfee. Everybody thought PDP was completely gone at that time. Some of these people here today, they were nowhere to be found at that particular time. Governor Wike was there. He supported the party. He was instrumental, to bringing PDP back from the brink. I mean, give it to him. He has always done his bit for the party. Okay, now, I did G5 also during the last election, because we thought after 8 years of President Buhari, the presidency should have been zoned to the south. Now we got the zoning committee that left their task open they left it open. And then we got to a presidential convention. I supported Governor Wike, of course, at that time. And in the party's delegates' wisdom, they elected Waziri Adamawa as the candidate of the party. I said, okay, these are the dynamics that we're faced with. How do we tackle this? How do we go into the election as a one united, focused party? But what did they have? Those things that we asked for. And I did not say this behind closed doors. I said it openly, facing the cameras. I said, look, we have to campaign for our people. You do politics because you also want, to have a good deal, for your zone. We had the chairman of the party then, Senator Ayu, from the North Central. We had our candidates, from the convention from the Northeast. And then they were planning, it has not been announced at that time, that the DG of the presidential campaign will be governor of Sokoto State then, Senator Tambuwa. And I said, look, it's not that he's not qualified. It's not that he cannot do the work of DG. But if the three main influential positions, to take us to the election is occupied, by the Northeast, the North Central, and the Northwest, how do we sell that position, all around the country? So it was self-inflicted. There wouldn't have been any G5. The day after the convention, I went to my very good friend, Governor Fintiri of Adamawa State, and I said, look, make this a government or a ticket, of a unity ticket. Get Governor Wike, let us appeal to him, let him be on that ticket. There wouldn't have been it would have been a stronger ticket, really, to face the APC. But all the people around our candidate, they rejected it. We met with him in London, all the things we discussed in there, he rejected it, and he came back and said, we've moved on. I mean, all these children, where were they when we were forming PDP? And we've seen the results now. And we don't want to walk that path again. When we got to Bauchi, the first PDP Governors Forum meeting under this dispensation, I made it clear to everybody that, look, let us wipe the slate clean. Let us not dwell in the past. We've seen the results. And if you're saying, look, okay, some people did this in 2023, but others did it in 2015. PDP should have still been in power up until now, but some people walked out of Eagle Square. We knew who they are, and we lost power at the federal level due to that action. Something repeated itself in 2023. We should pull back and say, look, this party still remains the major hope of the common man. Most people in this country, what they're saying to us is that, look, you guys go get yourself together and then leave the rest to us. And I kept saying it, 2027 election, it won't even be PDP versus APC. It will be Nigerians versus APC. Mark my word on that.
Let's take a breather, Governor Makinde. I'm quite interested in your agricultural agenda in Oyo State. Can people come home and invest in your state? You were in France. You said that, You want Fashola and some part of the state to mirror some of the things that are being done outside of this country. How would that happen, and how would that reflect on the economy of your state and the economy of Nigeria at large? We'll be back after this break, everyone. Join us again. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us in the situation in Plateau State. The Inspector General of Police, Mr. Egbetokun, has visited the state in the aftermath of an attack that left about 51 people killed. The IG has met alongside his Major Lieutenant, who are manning the state and the region, met with the governor and coming up with solutions that will help arrest the situation to avert a further disaster and killings in the state. Let's get back with our conversation with Governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time tonight. Governor,
thank you,
give us an idea. You look at agriculture, the people of Oyo State, time immemorial, are known for agriculture, and you can mention a few products that is known to the people of Oyo State. In fact, there are interesting scenarios who plays out. The other day, I was attributing Ashofi and Ashoke weaving to Ilorin people. Someone came after me and said, no, Seun, go to Seyi. That is where look, I grew up in Ilorin, and I know the Ilorin people are very strong in the economy of Ilorin is partly also with the weaving at Ashoke. And I love the fact that there is a competition, economic competition, when we're talking about these things. Governor, you were in France, and I know and I've heard what is going on in Fashola, the agricultural agenda of your government. But what exactly was the lesson that you saw in France? When I saw those pictures and he said, you're going to mirror what you saw in France and bring it to Oyo State, what exactly did you mean?
Okay, well, thank you, Sean. We were very clear from day one, what we had to do to expand the economy of Oyo State. Under the roadmap during my first tenure, we said we will expand the economy of Oyo State by looking after security and then infrastructure and agribusiness. So you will see that when I went to France, it was we signed an agreement with Rungis. They are the ones managing the largest. Some people may, if they're not even the largest, let's say the second largest food wholesale market in the entire world. And we went through how it all started. Everything that you see today, where you have Bodija market, you have Aleshiloye market, you have all of this. They were also the same thing they had around Paris at that time. And then they wanted a way to change the game. And you know that apart from agriculture being where we have a comparative advantage, Oyo State has the largest land mass in the southern part of the country at 28,000 square kilometers. If we were to be a country in Africa, by that land mass will have been number 44. So, and this is also very arable land where we have derived savanna and Guinea savanna for most of the area in Oyo State. But we had one big challenge when we came in. There's no infrastructure. The road from Oyo State has 5 major zones. You have the Okeogun zone, you have the Ibarapa zone, you have the Ogbomoso zone, you have the Ibadan zone, and you have the Oyo zone. And most of these zones have in the past what you call farm settlements. Fashola was in Oyo zone, and then you have Ipapo in Okeogun zone, you have Irua, you have Iresadu in Ogbomoso zone, you have Akufo in Ibadan zone. All of this, they were planned and agriculture was the mainstay of the economy of the Western region, where Oyo State, today's Oyo State, is located. So we said, what do we need to do? We need to start by connecting all the zones. Once you're able to connect all the zones, that means produce can move, all across the state. So we fixed first Ibadan zone, which is the major consumption center, to Okeogun zone, which is the major agricultural belt. The next, we fixed the road between Oyo zone and Okeogun zone. We also fixed the road between Ogbomoso zone, which is the second largest zone in terms of population and consumption, to Okeogun zone, the major belt. And now we're fixing from Ibadan zone to Erua zone. And so what we've done in Paris is that we've signed an agreement with Samaris, the folks that are managing the Rungis wholesale food market. And we've located a place at Ijaye, which is just on the fringe of Ibadan, and also very close to the rail station at Moniya. So what we're trying to do is the farmers can bring their produce into the wholesale market. And if you look at, if you check it out, the one they had in France, they're having a turnover of about 12 billion euro yearly. So if they can do that, and you have produce from all over the world also going into that territory, and these same people, they've set up one again in Republic of Benin. I said to myself, because I was there when early 90s, I just came out of the university, and we were all going to Republic of Benin to buy Tokumbo vehicles. And it became the in thing in Nigeria. I didn't want a situation where they will be that one step ahead of us again. They will set up their own markets in Republic of Benin, and then they will start feeding into us. Of course, they have the African Continental Free Trade Area. They have the channel that they can use, to bring their produce into our territory. That was really the main driver. Our infrastructure, please, I can tell you, between Ibadan and even Ogbomoso and Oyo, you can drive over 200 kilometers within Oyo State that you will not find a single pothole. And those are state roads. They are enablers for what we're trying to do with agribusiness. So I didn't just go to France to while away my time. We've signed an agreement, special agro-processing zone, being supported by AFDB, is springing up, one at Erua and the second one in Ijaye. And for Fashola, we've turned the corner in that place. Oyo State produces a lot of cashew. We produce cassava. You have in Oyo State the first cassava to sorbitol factory on this continent. We have it at Ado-Awaye. So, Sheung, for us, we don't enjoy going to Abuja every month, to get a handout as a federal allocation, because we have all what it will take. I was just going to IITA the other time, and I saw 5 trailers coming, 5 trailers covered in tarpaulin, and they were brand new trucks. So I thought maybe these people were cutting away solid minerals from here. So I told my aides to stop the trailers, find out what they are carrying, and lo and behold, they were carrying raw cashew. 30-ton trailers, so 5 of them, 150 tons of cashew. We looked at the street value, it's over $1 million. And what has the state gotten out of it? How have we, try to enhance this. So agriculture is going to agriculture and solid minerals plus first-class infrastructure to also develop tourism. Those are the things that will take Oyo State out of the woods. It's not what we're collecting at the
Dr. Makinde, yeah. There are, it's been said about 15 registered slaughter slabs in Oyo State, and about over 400 goats are being killed or thereabouts per day. Goats records about 28% of the animals being slaughtered. Cattle seems to be the highest, about 76%, and cow, we have about 500 cows registered to be killed every day. And when you mentioned that hub, and and imagine the kind of economy that will bring, and how Oyo State has been a hub within the Southwest region when it comes to slaughtering of animals for consumption. Are you thinking in that regard? Because some of the cow rearers and association were saying they bring about 5 million naira daily on returns taxes to Oyo State. That seems to me like a huge business. Are you thinking in that direction in terms of making it a hub, in fact, exportable from Oyo State?
Well, I was recently in Ethiopia, where I interacted with a few head of states at the Africa Business Forum. And people kept saying, we don't have any business, with poverty and things like that, because we have natural resources, we have fertile land and all of that. Well, even if you have the entire oil in this world and you don't have entrepreneurs, you don't have a system to monetize all of these things, you will continue to be in poverty. And I proved to them that even for Africa, we will get out of poverty when we take on the world, not just like this country. People may say, okay, we import this amount of rice, so because of that, we will plant rice. I said, no, that is not the approach for us in Oyo State. What we need to take on the world is almost exactly the same thing that we need for import substitution. And people will say, okay, we have the population. Nigeria is 240 million people. Let us trade within ourselves. I said, no, that is not our approach in Oyo State. Africa has a population about 1.4, 1.5 billion people. And people will say, well, bring down the trade barrier in Africa and then we will be prosperous. And I said, well, it is one of the first steps that we need to take. But the reality is, if you thinking that way, then China with a population of 1.4 billion and India with a population of another 1.5 billion, making about 2.9. They don't need to trade with anybody. But don't we see Indians here? Don't we see Chinese here? Why are they not satisfied with just trading within themselves? So for us in Oyo State, we're building infrastructure that will allow us to earn foreign exchange, from our efforts in agriculture and agribusiness. We're also pushing that the dry ports must, come to fruition, because we believe once you can feed yourself, you can satisfy the local market. The next thing is you have to export. Even Cocoa House that was launched here in 1959, they were exporting raw cocoa. They were not trading for chocolate within Nigeria. They exported raw cocoa. They earned foreign exchange. Even the oil that we go out to Abuja to share the money every month. it is because majority of it are being exported for us to earn foreign exchange.
Governor Makinde,
they told us, so sorry, Sean, this is really important. They told us on this continent, they bring in 10 million metric tons of edible oil every year. How can we get a share of that? So your state now we say soybeans we must plant and make into soy edible oil.
So there are those who are, and quickly too, I just have about 2 questions because of time so that we can wrap up. Infrastructure is important if you must open the interior part of Oyo State, and there are those who live in the Seyi area, live in Ogbomoso, Fakwate, and in fact, the Fashola area of Oyo State, the roads that you have constructed, there are those who will say to what end, and perhaps what are you calculating economy-wise in terms of trade and commerce to the people of Oyo State? Because Oyo State, after 2023, is rated as one of the top 10 states in terms of IGR. But there are those who believe that Oyo State could do better. And I'm glad the opening of the CAP, the Kunle Afolayan Film Village in Oyo State, is not in Ibadan, it's in the outskirts of Ibadan. That is a signal of the good things that this could be for the people of Oyo State. But the big question is that in terms of IGR, in all of this, is your permutation in the direction of increasing IGR and increasing the livelihood, making the livelihood of the people of Oyo State better?
Well, Sean, we have successfully stemmed rural-urban migration. Before I came in, it would take you 2 hours to 3 hours to go from Moniya to Seyi, a 65-kilometer stretch. Now it takes about maybe 45, 50 minutes. You know, I hosted the president of Sierra Leone in Fashola. And one thing he said to me that was profound is the fact that, look, he was talking to the president of China, and the president told him that because he was wondering, how are you feeding 1.5, 1.4 billion people? And he said to the Sierra Leonean president that infrastructure, don't even construct the farms, construct roads. Let the infrastructure be there. Private people will come in to construct farms and then to do their own business. So what we've done in Oyo State is we've put our money where our mouth is by ensuring that we're providing first-class infrastructure, not just in Ibadan, but across the state, so that businesses can relocate here and do what they have to do. And again, security has always been, is also one of the major enablers, for us.
Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State, we need to find more time to talk about mining in Oyo State, the energy, the shale gas project, and a host of other stuff that is going on in that state. But thank you so much indeed for your time. I appreciate it. For those who are saying GSM to PSM, maybe something you might have to consider a change of name if destiny permits. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Sean.
That's our show for today. And thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Sean Kimale. God bless you.